Cue the music. I am deliberately not gonna play anything for that dance. But we back at it again with another episode of Club Noir. Now this one right here is my bro Jose.
Hi, Jose.
Y'all know how I get.
I can't even speak, bro.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, this is a close friend of mine. I know this man since freshman year at high school. If you know Maker, which shout out Maker. Best class, graduating class, my opinion, founding class. But you know, so yeah, we're gonna get started, yo. So you know,
Introduce yourself, young man.
Yeah, my name is Jose. From Brooklyn. Go to school at University of Rochester. I don't know what else you want to know.
You're 6'4".
I'm 6'4", yeah. So I'm a tall Mexican, so you won't see much of those around the world. So
You don't.
yeah.
You don't.
how? Okay, I love the acumen, Diamond.
It's just.
Oh, yikes. Oh,
But yeah, thank you Jose for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yo, so you know, y'all can introduce yourselves. You know, I'm not. You know, the club already knows y'all, but you know.
I mean, you know,
Word.
yeah, but I'm Diamond.
They know the vibes. I'm James. What's up?
So yeah, so James,
Hold on, though.
what we?
You ain't.
What's your name?
Right.
I said I'm rich. I didn't say I'm rich.
I don't think
I
so.
don't
You
think I
rich?
heard that.
Oh, my bad, y'all.
It gets me
I
every
thought
time.
he was Richard.
Snap. Well, I'm rich.
It's nice to have rich friends, you know?
I like rich friends.
Can y'all speak up a little bit? You know?
We like rich friends, that's all.
Okay, cool.
We like you, Richard.
You're no player.
That sounded...
Especially for the last episode being social contracts.
Oh
Sounded
my
delicious.
goodness.
Sounded-
Okay.
But not to perpetuating this. Let me stop.
Y'all see what I did
But
with?
yo, all right, James, please take it away. Why is Jose here?
That's a good question. What's up with you, bro? I'm joking. Y'all know the vibes. All right, so basically, Jose wanted to talk about accountability and critiques, which is very
Wait, tell me.
interesting
I'm
topic.
sorry, y'all. My best friend's here. So yo, Ryan, pull up, bro.
Oh, hi, Ryan.
Oh, this is the famous Ryan. Hi.
So yeah, so he's he's in the audience right now. We just chilling.
Oh, also, the logo maker.
Oh, facts. Yo, I'm gonna tag you. So if you need any, wait.
That sounded better.
All right, boom. So boom. If y'all like, you know, my son Ryan, he got a whole magazine out. By we air this, he probably don't have to do a magazine out. So you know, check out, you know,
Pete Magazine, Volume 2,
Uh-huh.
Urban Life Magazine,
Okay.
coming soon.
We love to see
We
it.
talk about a lot of pressing topics in New York City and urban communities all over the country. So make sure to check it out.
I
Yes,
love
sir.
it. I
You
love
know what
it.
I'm saying? We here for it. Yeah, my son, respect,
Never
bro.
put that down.
I don't know anyone as talented as my son Ryan over here, you know, in terms of graphics, so, you know. But, you know, thank you for, you know, pulling up on the show.
I just have to say, he loves you. Like, entirely, like, I've never seen a friendship like that. Like, honestly.
I know the vibe. Alright, but yeah, my bad, y'all. Back to the episode.
You know what? I'm feeling it. Yo, just give me a hot take on the topic about critiques, accountability. Just give me a hot take, opinion, something.
facts,
Still something.
I mean, why did I bring it up? I mean, I feel, well, given everything that's gone on these past, 2-3 years, right? I think, you know, we could extend that to even more, right? Ever since 2016 when, you know, I think the world really started to get polarized with, like, news and whether it be what occurs, like, you know, in terms of, like, domestic issues in this country or just in the world, right? Everything is just so heightened and polarized. And so, you know, it seems like whenever there's some sort of discourse, right, you know, giving critiques of anything seems to be elevating that polarization and conflict that exists. And then I think because why I'm bringing accountability into this is because I feel like we oftentimes we divert, whether it's blame, maybe like attention or direction towards an outside issue or an outside force, but oftentimes we forget to be accountable with ourselves with things. So.
No, I feel that. And that's a huge thing, like where you could be like, yo, I think like, oh, I think this could have been slightly done better with like this public figure, and they were just like, oh, so you hate the public figure, you want him dead? I'm like, oh, I ain't saying all that. I ain't saying all that. I just wish,
Like I'll give you a hot take right now. Like, if I get canceled, I get canceled.
I'm so sorry, y'all.
It's a joke.
I don't know what's gonna happen right now. But I'm gonna clear for the record.
Full disclaimers.
Jimmy, Diamond, and I don't know what he's about to say.
Full disclaimers.
Don't
Please
say
continue.
my name. Don't say my name.
It's not that extreme though. You'll see what I mean. Like when Biden was running, right, as for candidate for presidency, I feel like it's been at that point where we're told to choose the lesser of two evils, but that shouldn't be the reason why we stop being critical about whatever an agenda is or whatever points are going through. I think we forget that our votes aren't given, right? Politicians have to come and earn our votes, right?
Exactly.
And what's going on now? Biden isn't canceling that, right? He only extended the forgiveness, the payment forgiveness for a few more months, right? Who knows if anything is gonna happen, right?
6 months when people are out of work during the COVID pandemic, it's like it's very hard to work in this environment, let alone to you're deferring, you're not like deterring. So it's like
even it's like 6 months is not a lot of time.
Like, if you couldn't pay it when you graduated and you have years, how you gonna pay it in 6 months?
Right. And then he told a bunch of young adults and people that public institutions were gonna be free. That hasn't happened. He said he was gonna give more money to HBCUs and Latino affiliated institutions. Like we see a bunch of HBCUs having issues with like their dorms or like the infrastructure in their own schools. We could keep on going, right? And so I think we often forget that being critical in general about something or the practice of critiquing things doesn't stop. Like you have to be critical about everything.
And that's actually a thing we talk about a lot, where it's just like people will like say something first, but then they kind of plateau like mad quick, and it's just like, yo, even like once you got let's say something that you like, you're still gonna want to critique for the intention of like refining the entire journey with that, whether it's an individual, a project, whatever it may be. You can't just stop and be like, well, I just got this, and so I'm a slack. And because this even goes to like, let's say non-platonic relationships would be like, oh, I got this, let's say I got this girl, and so I'm gonna stop being attentive. I'm gonna stop, giving her attention. I'm not gonna, make her feel special. Just
and not only that, if I'm critiquing you not making me feel a certain way, it doesn't mean I want to break up with you.
that too.
Like people need to understand, it's like when you critique something about someone, it's that specific critique. Like let's not not even analyze it. Let's not make it a hyperbolic, equivalent of a reason for us to like not do something or not show up or just not be a good person. Like no one is saying you're a bad person unless they say it, of course, explicitly. But it's like if I'm saying, yeah, girl, bro, you good? Like, cause here, you're doing too much. You're gaslighting. You're not talking to me. You're not opening up to me or something like that. It's like it doesn't mean you're a bad person. But it's about that specific thing. It's like let's really hone in and focus on what is the critique at hand? Like, what is actually going on? Let's really understand, let me use my ears, let me understand what this person's saying. And then reflect, and then respond. Like, okay, am I doing this? Am I doing that? Doesn't mean I'm a bad person. We all have mistakes. No one's perfect. Literally, the reason why I'm the way all my success and all my achievement is literally because of the critiques. And I'm thankful for that. Like, bro, all my friends know, let me know if I'm out of pocket, because I can only learn from that. And and honestly, I love the motto,
Look too personal. Like he felt that one.
But yeah, it's like, and I feel like people had to really love the journey of failing forward, because it's like,
that.
how can you know you're doing something wrong until it's presented to you? And that's what critiques come from. Now, don't get me wrong, you critiquing just to be a nag, don't do that. Because we're not going to accept, oh, you can do this better, you can do this better, you can do this better. But I just won valedictorian. It's the spot. Tell me I could have got 100 when I got 99. Can we accept my award right now? Don't do that. But it's definitely a complex thing, and it's like really learn to evaluate it and be like, yo, and reflect. Why is someone critiquing me right now?
Right.
And is there anything to learn and grow from this?
Yeah. That has to probably be like the best thing that happened to me in 2021, because I felt like I went through a period where I didn't know myself like at all. And then I'm looking at all my failed relationships or friendships or my relationships with like family members, and I'm like, is it me? Like what did I do that they didn't say? And it's like oftentimes I look at the situation and I'm like, it's more so them, but I never stepped away from that person. I never said anything to that person in terms of like what they did or how they made me feel. And that could kind of make you feel like, okay, well, it's not me, it's them. But at the same time, I didn't tell them. I didn't critique them. I didn't help them learn. So it's like they couldn't help me understand why they did what they did either, because there was no communication. So it's like the more I went through that last year, and the more I started to understand myself more as a person, I'm like, okay, you have to be more vocal about these things, because critiquing goes both ways. And it's more so like, I want to say I take it as like a giving and receiving almost, because it's like if I critique you and you let me know how to treat you better or how to treat the situation better, you can also teach me. And it's like now it's not just one party learning, but it's like we both understand. So.
And that's honestly why it's really important not only vocalize it, but also I'm gonna give credit where credit's due. When Charlamagne was like, honesty without empathy is brutality. So it's like also when you're critiquing, be empathetic as well. Like be very intentional with yo, let me call you in real quick. Like yo, like come on, like let's check it out. Hey sis, can we work on this? Because like it's really important on how you deliver the critique as well. Because like a lot of people respect, like they don't know, they just don't know. Right. And it's important on how you deliver that message. Honestly.
And they feel like as long as they're honest and there's like nothing wrong. But it's just like you could have went about this so much like in so many like better ways, right? Like,
are you stupid? Why are you doing this? Like, bro, chill, bro. What? It's my third day out here.
It's like you look at it as critiquing, but to them it's like you're attacking them.
Yeah,
like, that's
exactly.
Not,
and that's why like it's important to like even if you're the critiquer, the critique, right? The critic. There we go.
I was following you. I was.
The critiquer.
Someone was supposed to sound right, but yeah. Like, let's say you're the critic for the situation. Like, it's important to like remember that like how you say it matters in terms of like understanding what someone's gonna be receptive to.
Right.
Because a lot of people will literally just be like, oh, you always know the type of people that go in and be like, oh, people just don't like me because I'm brutally honest. I'm just like, nah, it's just because you're brutal. That's the part, because like I'm an honest person, and if I'm presenting like yo, that something problematic, I'm doing it in a respectful way, but I'm doing it specifically in a way that I know that they can receive it.
Facts, like no one disregarding the validity of your claim. They're
Exactly.
disregarding the addressing of said validity.
Exactly, because you can still address something and remain respectful. Because obviously, even if you think you're saying the truth, no one's gonna want to be receptive to being insulted in the meantime, right? Because then now they're gonna be like, all right, well, you know what? Screw you. I don't care what you have to say, because well, why am I even gonna pander to what you think is good or bad if you can't even be respectful? You know what I'm saying? So it's just like it's so crucial to just understand that other human beings, they have feelings, they have emotions, and it's just like if you actually want there to be a positive change from whoever you're critiquing or holding accountable, you have to understand what they're going to be receptive to. Because if you do it in a way where they're just going to get defensive and then they're just going to hate you too and then be a menace to more people just because they're mad, well, you ain't helped.
I always say what I'm thinking, and it's like I hate it. But I feel like that also goes back to accountability as well. What?
No, I'm
No,
saying
I'm saying like great minds think alike.
Yeah.
It's
I was like,
I would hope so. I would hope we share the same sentiments about positive culture.
Unless you want menaces.
I feel like a practice we forget that we've done a lot. Maybe perhaps it wasn't like taught to us the best way or whatever, but like for those that have at least gone through public schools, like something you'd always do in classes, like give constructive criticism towards like another classmate about an assignment or whatever. Yeah, maybe like they could have been done a little bit better if it was like forced, like well you got to find something wrong in someone's work and tell them how they could do it better. But yeah, like going off to your point, like you can be honest about.
You got flashbacks?
almost cried a little, but
Yeah, like. But yeah, you look back at like sort of at whether it's previous examples or times you've been honest, and there's a difference between being brutally honest and sometimes the occasion may warrant that, depending on what it is you're talking about and like what the stakes are. But sometimes there's different ways of going about it.
And honestly, I feel like we need to ask questions about how people want to be delivered critiques. Because me personally, I'm not kind of too big on like the catering or like
and the sugarcoating.
Sugarcoating, like
they're not.
that's not me.
He's not.
Like
He's honest.
that's not me. I'm like, why didn't you say that?
You read the video? Like he said up from the jump. Facts.
But then again, like I'm not disregarding any other person. Like don't get me wrong. When I give critiques, I'm very cautious and very aware of how people want to be delivered. Like, yo, does wording matter? What wording matters? What specific words to you? And I feel like for friendships, and this is a red flag and green flag, ask someone, how do you want to be critiqued? If they give you no way they want to be critiqued, they just want to live in a bubble. And respectfully, bubbles are meant for people who want to live alone. Okay? So they want to be an individual. They live alone. Okay?
How should I critique you? Oh, I got you. Just don't do it.
Yeah, leave them alone, please. But for someone like, yo, honestly, hey, yo, Rich, like, give it to me raw. Give it to me
Hey, yo!
Can we just be honest for a day? Ain't be mature, please.
You was just talking about proper word choice, bro. Ain't no way.
I think I was actually getting to that too.
But give it to me straight,
You heard it here first.
Yeah, done?
Would you like an
Heard it here
alternative?
Yes.
Keep it 100 with me.
Keep 100 with me.
There you go.
Keep 100 with me.
Straightforward.
Be straightforward, or it's like, yo, honestly, like, be aware of my situation, address me first, ask me how my day, like, be very, like, set the tone and be very apparent at the tone first. Certain what church that's more applicable. But yeah, be very cautious and ask them as a premise of said friendships. Because I think we mentioned that in social contracts. Understanding someone's love language and how they want to be addressed. That is very key and important, especially when it comes to like critiques. Because literally, the promise of any human experience is that there will be a problem, and there just will be. No one is literally flawless, and if they are, please put me on. But yeah, like, so preparing how to address a problem before the problem even happens, that is just like who doesn't want to do that? Like that is literally proactivity, not reaction, proactivity. And I feel like we should all focus and push for proactivity.
Word.
I feel like that goes back into accountability as well, because it's like when you enter a friendship, like when you're talking about like social contracts, it's like it's important to like state those things to like know how to go about that. Otherwise, it's like you're just in something and you don't necessarily know how to navigate it. It almost seems pointless. Like, yeah. One of my biggest words this year is intention. Like, I'm going to in everything with intention, especially when it comes to relationships, friendships, anything that just involves me to like think about what I'm doing, which is everything, but so it's like, yeah.
You saying that you're gonna put more work and intention into a relationship that's make it more meaningful?
Yeah.
Wow. So profound.
That's exactly what I'm gonna do. Yeah.
Who would have thought that if you spent time in cultivating your friendships and relationships, that they will be more fruitful in the long run?
Yeah. Take notes, ladies. Heard it here first.
Take note, people.
It goes both ways, right?
It go both ways.
In
but
all
yes.
ways. It's not a binary.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but something you said earlier.
Jimmy,
You
you
brought
good,
up. Yo, you're dying. Yeah, you gotta get the medic.
James is like always on the same.
But you mentioned Charlemagne before. I don't know if you saw that video that was going viral about
Mariah Carey.
No, not Mariah Carey. No,
I didn't see that one.
he was criticizing Kamala Harris. Over like what they were doing in like the Senate and like not getting like that bill passed, the Build Back Better or whatever bill. And then she got like really pressed and like started like not screaming at him, but like her tone changed and she started like talking down at him.
But she wasn't even talking about the issue. She was talking about like
She was
character.
like, oh, my name is Kamala Harris. I'm vice president. The president is Joe Biden.
Yeah, the authority fallacy is just, it was like, oh, because your title means that you can talk in a certain way. It's like, respectfully, we're talking about action. If you're responsible for saving lives and impacting lives, and you said you were going to do it, why are you not doing it? Like,
That's accountability in itself, honestly.
That's why I wanted to talk about this, because I think with criticism, being critical about things, that can lead to then whether it's accountability on other people's part to get something done or do something the way it should be or their original intention, but also on yourself of receiving criticism, receiving critiques, learning more about what you could do better, to then find a way to turn that into a sense of accountability for yourself, to hold yourself responsible to either change that, do that, or do that differently. So you can't have one with the other, and if you just have solely one, then that's also not
yeah. Honestly, the law is equivocal exchange. You wouldn't point the finger, be acceptable as pointing back at you.
Right.
And I say it's a negative thing, because respectfully, you ever hear this phrase, "Oh, I don't be judgmental." Why not? In terms of like the merit, if you're genuinely coming from a place of critiquing because you want to see better, you want to see more, it's okay to critique. I see oftentimes, and of course I understand judgmental how it's used in certain contexts, but it's in its I guess its raw components, I can see why people kind of stray away from oh, I don't want to critique because it's a bad thing. There isn't anything inherently wrong with providing an alternative why someone can do something better. Especially when they start the premise of, oh, I'm going to do this.
Exactly.
Because honestly, what I see personally is with local, even not even the president and vice president, with local electives. You should be talking to your local representatives and holding them accountable and critiquing what they're doing. What's going on in your neighborhood? Oh, people are literally freezing to death in your neighborhood. Okay, who controls that? Where's your public advocate? Are you telling them? Are you critiquing them? Right? Are you just pointing fingers and critiquing the wrong people and holding them accountable for things that they don't?
Or are you just going to social media with people who aren't the people who can impact your life and stuff like
and then
that?
sometimes social media isn't even the place to go.
No, it's not even shade. It's just
facts.
It's just facts. Literally, a lot of people when it comes to, because it's just they get the foot in the door. That even goes to what we were talking about with the plateau. They'll get in the door and be like, all right, bet. I'm in the mindset where I'm gonna voice the issues that are here. But then they point it at the wrong person, and then it's just obviously nothing gets done because they point at the wrong person, and therefore, they just end up stay upset, and it's just you started off so strong, but it's you have to make sure that you're holding the right person accountable for the right set of actions, right? Because let's say, easy example, we have 3 branches of government, right? If we're talking about let's say a bill being passed and the type of legislation, then that doesn't, you can't just point all fingers at whoever's in the presidency, because it's Congress is voting on that, so talk to Congress.
This, bro, the amount of times I see people who hate Trump over his presidency, but literally ignore Mitch McConnell for over 10 years. Even more than
even though many people would definitely say that he's the real villain of the story.
Wait, who's that? Some people don't even know who
but honestly, this is which is why. Just before I say when you're doing critiques, I'm using this word so much, but when you critique, what happened?
No, I was saying which word?
Or critique. But when you do a critique, be acceptable and willing to change that critique and also implement it. It's okay, I want to critique the thing. What if that's something to critique? What if it's not their responsibility? Be able to learn and adapt. For example, okay, why is my country running like this? Why is it going like this? The president. Okay, once you do more research, you find out the president isn't really the person doing it. All right, let me learn about the government. Senate. The Speaker of the Senate is lit to Mitch McConnell. He has say, I don't know about right now.
No.
But he had say on the appoint justice. He had say on literally almost every bill.
All the bills that happen for the Trump presidency.
Before the bill becomes before the
bill becomes law. Yeah.
Law. So bills is at the write-up draft before it becomes law. He literally was the man saying yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. and respectfully, anything that was progressive and helped people who look like me and you, no. And I'm just like, y'all all mad at Trump when it's like he's a loudmouth, but when we learn and look at what's nitty gritty, it's not even him.
Right.
So like all this angst and anger.
Word, it's not even like, don't get me wrong, it's not like we're even here to say,
We're not.
Trump's good. Like, nah, exactly.
This critique is not defending Trump. Just clarify.
And that's the craziest thing, because like that kind of even goes to what we're talking about. Like, we'll say where the issue is, and people are like, oh, so you're saying there's no issue? It's like, nah. Don't get me wrong, but both individuals got issues. Don't get me wrong, but it's just like, if we have this specific problem, we have to go to that specific person, right? If we, let's say, I don't know, if there's an issue with a child, and let's say I want to talk to his parent, I'm not gonna go to his neighbor and kick his neighbor, say you should be better. Like, no, the neighbor's not responsible. The parent is. Like, you gotta talk to the parent to talk to the child. You can't go to the neighbor and be like, yo, you should be a better neighbor.
Facts. He's in your neighborhood. He plays in your
neighborhood. He plays ball with your kid on Saturday evening.
Like, you see him every other day. Like,
I'm cracking up.
but yeah, like, this is why going forward, it's like, please be very aware and know what you're talking about. Don't just be throwing out. Like, I understand everyone's angry and have all the displaced anger, but please understand. Okay, am I directing this at the right source? And if you aren't at first, don't get me wrong. Many times I've been holding people accountable that wasn't accountable. But once I've learned, yo, my bad, sorry. Can you direct me? Can you help me? And if not, maybe they're not. Cool. But we move on and you learn and you do better. That's only the premise of anything. I feel like. So it's like, even for like the presidency, like politics, respectfully, a lot of stuff that could be solved is in your local community. Like, stop pointing a finger at the large thing when if you don't even care for your small community, how do you expect someone to care about the whole country? Like, we need to really understand and be proactive of what we want to see. Like, don't just critique someone and bash them when we're not even doing what we can in our own domain.
Word. That's you. That's good.
I had a thought, but I feel like I don't feel like it should be mentioned here.
Nah, say it.
You gotta say it now.
Yeah. See, now you gotta say it.
You gotta say it. For disclosure, one more time. James, Jose, and I does not know what Diamond's about to say. So if it's out of pocket,
however, there's no take
I don't
backsies.
even know what I'm about to say. But anywho, I just hope, I pray. Okay. Yeah. So one of the biggest things that I feel like I think about when it comes towards like communities and like changing and stuff like that is like when we talk about gentrification, right? Obviously, in minority communities, it's not like the palm. We feel like we're being pushed out and other people are being brought in, and it changes the dynamic of everything. Like, nothing feels like ours. This no longer belongs to us, or we no longer feel, it's like we feel pushed out. But at the same time, when you look at these communities, like, yes, things are changing, and overall, even though we don't see it that way, it's supposed to be changed for the better. I understand why people feel like, okay, it's not, because it's, it's not favoring them at the moment. And that part of it is understandable. But it's like, when we then look at our minority communities and how we treat it, how we keep it, how we don't upkeep it, like, things like that come into play as to also why the gentrification is happening. But they just look at the prices, they look at the skin tone, they look at this, that, and the third, and it's like, okay, well, this isn't mine anymore. And it's also like, okay, well, when it was yours, what were you doing to keep it?
That's key. That's key.
So,
and I feel like that civic critique is really important, because like we're not saying gentrification is good. No one's saying that.
right. I'm
Just
not
clarify,
saying
we're
that.
not saying
I'm
that.
not saying that.
But I do think is that honestly what I've been saying, specifically what I've been saying, is that when a problem comes to us, when we've seen the problem happen before, we have to be proactive and not reactive. Like, if you care about something, show you care immediately.
Right.
Don't wait for someone to destroy that.
And then be like, damn, I missed it. I want it back. We're like,
Yeah.
to be honest, you should have, you shouldn't have taken it for granted. I'm not
Like,
saying
you
like you
shouldn't take it
deserve
with
for
care.
it getting taken
once again,
away.
Yeah.
It is totally foul what they be doing to these families.
Where
I'm specifically, I know. I'm not gonna disclose what I've been through, but like, it's really crazy. However, now with me coming into the dope, me being 21 now, I know that I now have the acumen. I know I have the power to do something about it. I'm not saying I have the power as them, same amount of power, but I know that if I build this community with you, with my friends here, we could change that.
Right.
So yeah, that's honestly, critique and then do something about it. Follow up.
Exactly.
Actions must follow the words.
The words, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny because you mentioned that part because I always found like that to be like one of the big things. Let's say like when we talk about like black businesses and stuff like that, like a lot of people just like be saying stuff, but then be like, oh, would you get this? Say Amazon, a lot of Amazon. And no, I'm not saying nobody should get anything. All right, just like look, I understand convenience, price, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
However, the fact of the matter is, the more we give away, well, the more the community will have, and that's just how it is. And that's why it's important to I'm not saying every meal has to come from that place on the corner you die, but I'm saying obviously if you're in the practice of making sure the people around you in the practice of supporting what's there right now, then there is a better chance of it being able to survive and thrive.
Yeah.
And that's just
that's
that's pretty.
I feel that a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like it has to do, yes, we can definitely promote black businesses, and I love it. I'm a black business owner. I know a lot of people who are black business owners, but it's we also have to understand the quality of your business. Just because it is a black business, don't expect people or black people, minority people to support it just because. But it's the quality goes into that too. Did you actually take time on your product? Did you take time on your business? Is it beneficial? What is your intention? Or is it just oh, I'm a black business, buy from me?
And that's what, when you talk, make sure you're able to back it up.
Word.
Right.
That's a big thing.
And that's honestly,
Yo, I know. I mean, personally, for me, because I'm specifically talking about hair, right? Because my barber, right? Black. It's a black shop. Everybody, all the barbers are black. Great vibes, great cuts. The price isn't too beneficial to my wallet, but of course I'm willing to support. But I've always noticed there's always been I'm not gonna say always. That's OD. But I've noticed a good amount of times I go on Instagram and someone's complaining this person said they was gonna do my hair and they was unprofessional. They showed up late. Then they charged me extra. And it's just high key. And it's that goes into play.
You critique that. Oh, you hate me? You hate black business? You hate black hairdressers? And it's bro, chill. I'm critiquing action. No one said all that.
Word, and that's. I'm so glad you said that. I don't want to go too many rants, but yeah, I think that's such a huge thing that people have to dissociate with someone calling out an action and someone just saying you're bad, because they're two different things, right? If let's say I let's say I make a joke and it happened to be insensitive, be yo, I didn't like that. I found that to be disrespectful. I can just be oh wow, so we were friends, but now I'm this disrespectful monster. Really? I'm it's you don't have to do all that. You don't have to do all that. It's just yo, take what was actually said, and as you said, reflect.
Yep.
Because I was not called a disrespectful monster, so I can't go that far and then react to you with hostility based on what you didn't even say. I feel people, a lot of there's way too many times where you could say something small, you can even present it well, and people be oh, are you trying to say I'm a bad person? I'm just nah, it's not that deep.
And that's where I think all these recent events and things that have occurred, whether it's the polarization of politics or a pandemic, living living in quarantine, things like this have influenced at times I've even seen it within myself too of we jump to be reactive about issues or we forget or have forgotten what it is to truly have a dialogue with another individual and really take the words for what they are in context of words, right? Mm-hmm. No feelings, no emotions, just words, context, what's the meaning, how does that apply to me? We I think I'm optimistic, hopefully societal wise we get to that again, but it just seems whether sometimes interactions with people, social media, let's not even mention Twitter, but
menaces on Twitter.
Everything is just reactive,
I think the only thing worse than Twitter is Clubhouse, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, Clubhouse is dead.
But that's the thing too. It's like I feel like you said, it's so valuable to take things at their explicit value. Like the amount of time Jimmy and I have been told, "Oh, you're a misogynist," when we've literally defended women in the same sentence. Like we've really been like, "Yo, like you know, like I can't even go to the."
It's crazy. It's so crazy because literally within the same conversation, we're called misogynists, but we're also called
Simps.
woman panderers at the same time.
Yeah,
we're just like, how can I be both?
And it's like I feel like people are like, oh well, what do they mean if they're condescending mean this? No one is saying they can't be, right? All I'm saying is that when we operate out of the ambiguities and the implicit connotations that is intrinsically imposed upon by us, not by the person, we then allow room and space for others to operate out of ambiguities and implicit connotations that is intrinsic to them.
Exactly.
So it's like if I'm making a statement and you see it how you want to see it. So if I say I like apples, and you get that I hate oranges.
You don't like oranges, bro? You don't like bananas? You don't like mangoes? Mangoes are the best fruit.
And you take
Mangoes are
that.
the
They are.
Yeah.
They are.
I like peaches.
Oh, so you don't like you don't like rice cakes? You don't like pasta?
And you see how like
How dare you?
And you see how like I gotta like defend, but then if I'm defending, it could be taking another route, which is why I'm not even entertaining that. And I feel like we have to move and grow as a society to be like, yo, they said X, Y, and Z. I heard X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
They mean X, Y, and Z. You know, so it's like, because if we ever take out of context, then what you could say could take out of context. So if you're right and they're wrong taking yourself out of context, what makes you right? As opposed to they literally said this, I didn't say it, they said it. I'm saying what they said. Right. So it's like, please refrain from telling people what they said.
Word.
Because that's not a critique. You're just, come on.
You're just relaying wrong information.
We've been talking like us three have been having this conversation for like 3 days. Like literally.
Yo,
3
we've literally
days.
heard the most craziest things.
On Zoom, on Instagram.
Before even
voice-
Diamond was here. Like, I've seen this man Jimmy get yelled at. I've gotten screamed at. Yo, shout out my son Justin. I've seen this man do nothing. Not even say a peep. Not even say a word. Not a word. Cursed out for nothing.
For literally saying, hey y'all, let's keep the peace. We're in the library.
This man goes, hey, I don't want to be in my business, but it's getting too loud. Can we keep the peace? Keep the peace? How dare you try to keep the peace and de-escalate the situation? How dare you?
How dare you?
But yeah, honestly,
I'm not allowed to disrupt us in the library? You.
menace. But honestly, I mean, yeah. So going forward, please be cautious and aware of your critiques. Be cautious and aware of, am I coming to this person from a genuine point of telling them what they did wrong, or am I trying to make them feel
Because that
bad?
matters. Because that matters a lot. Making sure that you can like genuinely say like, yo, you're doing it for the right reasons because you want to refine something, right? A lot of people really take pleasure in just calling things out. And it's just like, all right, we get it. You're miserable. Cool. You can move along your day. Like, cause it's really important. Cause like, I don't even want to sound like a hypocrite and be like, oh, well, they critique so they're miserable. It's not even that. But it's like, if you just enjoy saying things are wrong, that just sounds like misery because that's just all you're doing, right? But you should be able to like say, all right, this is why I think that it's like let's say like not productive, it's not gonna help, and then here's an alternative, here's
also,
a solution. Because other than that, you're just out here stating problems. Anybody can do that.
And also, if you don't be showing thorough critiques, that you don't smell the roses. I think too often times people fall down the rabbit hole of pointing out the wrongs. They don't even know what's the goods.
Yep.
Like,
But that's okay sometimes. Like you don't need to have like solutions for everything.
yeah.
Sometimes it's good to recognize a problem, at first, and then work your way towards a solution, right? We're human. We're not supposed to have all the answers.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
think
that's valid because like you don't have, but yeah, because that's true. And I guess I misspoke because it's not really about saying always having the solution, but it's about at least being solution oriented.
Right.
Yeah, definitely that. Because no one's saying to have the answers.
We're not saying have the answer for like world peace, solve cancer in a day, obviously.
Or things that for example, if you say if you're a public executive, I'm sorry, a public advocate or like a public official, And you're saying you're going to do what? Create a homeless shelter? 2 years ago? Still in office? And there's no answers to why there's no homeless shelter? That's one step to a solution. Do that, please. But also be like, yo, my bad. They also was fighting for change. It wasn't actually them. It was someone else holding that bill back. So it's like, be able to point out, oh, someone's doing this. He's like, oh, I appreciate you doing X, Y, and Z, but it's one little thing and you make one tweak. So like, be very cautious of, understand the holistic view, and really be able to accept and be open to what is the issue and what are the solutions, and is there anything good, is there anything to be resolved or what's the word? Salvageable from the thing going on.
So are you saying critique more of the situation and not the person?
Precisely.
Yeah, but however, if it's about someone's character, critique the person's character.
Yeah, but in a way that targets the behavior, not the individual.
Yeah, in a way that targets the behavior, not the individual.
Because I think that's where a lot of people try to make it one and the same. Because it's like, I can't be every single action that I ever do, right? Just because, I don't know, I like, let's say like one time, let's say, I don't know, I peed one time, or you all pee, right? But you're not just gonna label me as the peer just because I peed one time. Like that's, we don't do that unless you're like a child. You know, children make labels on anything. But we're adults. We're mature. We understand that like people are more than just one certain action, especially when they're of a very low like gravity. You know, so it's just like we should be like making sure that we're focusing on what exactly happened, right? Because things just get so messed up the moment people want to make the individual and that one behavior one and the same.
That's very true. But I think you had a question, a closing question. I kind of want to hear everyone answer it.
Ooh. Gotta have your menacing hands.
Not the audio.
Forget the audio. Did you hear the laugh? Like, it was a laugh for me. That could be on there. Like,
but nah, so like, I just want your thoughts on this. Your thoughts. Thorts.
Thoughts.
Thoughts.
Thorts.
should we say it all together?
Thoughts.
Thoughts. You don't
You're
want
not
to say
saying it?
thoughts?
Why not? You're not in the culture. You're not vibing with the club right now.
Word, bro.
Can we get a vibe check, bro?
Say it for me.
Right. Nah, you want him to
I'll
speak
say it
for you?
after I give you the answer to my question.
Alright, cool.
Alright,
Do a break.
So, alright, so that's it. Let me hear your thoughts on this, right? So, should we always push for, and like advocate for like, let's say like good behavior and stuff, basically like at all times? Or should we kind of like allow, a lot of like leeway and like bad behavior and like kind of like void people of like critiques and accountability if they're doing it in response to something bad? For example, let's say he was disrespectful to me and he said, I don't know, James, go step on a Lego. Because that's a serious threat. It's a very serious threat.
What if I put mayo in the sandwich and feed to him?
That is actually, that's attempted murder. So, yeah. Now imagine if you were to do that and then I decide to, especially on a completely, like let's say different time until decide to retaliate and get back at him, right? Should we push that? I also, because mind you, this is not like exclusive to say like, oh, you can only choose one person, but like, should I still be held accountable, or y'all just think I'm good because I did it in response to something that was bad?
I'm a little toxic.
I mean,
Full disclosure, I did not know she was gonna say that.
go a little further. Yeah,
I didn't know.
I'm a little toxic.
Can we define toxic, please? Because I just feel like that is very scary. Because when I use toxic, I use it for the derogatory means people out here deliberately causing harm. So please define toxic, because I'm scared.
At least what do you mean in this context?
In this context, it's like, okay, for everyone here, we know that James does not like mayo, like whatsoever. It's not a thing for him. Okay? Upon many other things.
What about like aioli? It's like, yolks and
It's
oil.
I'd rather not.
No? Sorry.
That's just sad.
Sorry for interrupting. Saying yolks.
Nasty.
Like egg yolks, you've never made your own mayonnaise?
I don't even eat eggs. I don't.
No? Okay, I'm sorry.
I don't like
Yeah.
this. I don't
I'm like
the
a honey
vegetables.
mustard and barbecue sauce type of guy.
I like ranch.
Anyways, you were saying? Timing?
But before we get into condiments, yeah. So as far as I don't like y'all. As far as the context for this, I'm sorry. It's you. It's you. All right.
She made
So.
a statement and it's you.
So we know that he doesn't like mayo, right? So if he deliberately gives him a sandwich with mayo on it, it's like I automatically expect him to react, and I just want to see how he's going to react. So I'm going to let it happen, but I might not let it go too far.
I think if you let the mayo happen, it's already too far.
But how did I know that you were putting the mayo on the sandwich? If you told
just said if I know, I'm gonna let it happen.
No, she
no.
knows like my retaliation. Like,
Yes.
Oh.
Like if I know how he responds to that, I kind of just want to see it play out.
Oh, okay.
In a sense, like that's what I mean as far as toxic
That's crazy.
in this situation. But if I knew you were going to put mayo on the sandwich, I would tell him that you
So
put
hold up.
mayo on the sandwich.
So what I'm hearing is that you what's the word? Intrude proactively, but not reactively.
In certain cases.
that's kind of crazy though, because imagine that. Like, I hit her up, be like, yo, Richard gave me a mayo sandwich. I'm about to fight him. She goes, okay, fight.
And then I'm getting dressed. Wait.
And
Wait.
then mid fist fight, she's like, you know that yo, I ever watch fight videos and there's always that one girl. Stop!
Once it starts getting out of hand, like I feel
Yo,
like
every
he's
fight
really
video
getting
got
beat
that
up. I'm
one
gonna be
girl.
like, hold on.
Stop.
No, that went
Guys,
too far.
no, don't do that.
I thought you was just gonna hit him with a quick 1-2, but he really.
But he not going to eat.
That
Oh,
was
what quick 1-2?
Yo, if someone gives you a quick
Respectfully,
1-2, I'm gonna get back a 1-2-3-4.
Before, 4-piece nuggets, bro.
Respectfully,
I feel like
unless James is low-key Baki.
You put
Under
mayo
that?
on it. I
Right, if
feel
you're not
like
Baki.
you shouldn't
it-
even
it's
hit
just a
him back.
scuffle.
You already put mayo on the sandwich. Like I feel.
Yeah,
like
but alright, but okay,
Tell me,
if
tell
I'm
me,
gonna
tell me.
retaliate for a
Respectfully?
sandwich, he's gonna retaliate for hands.
Respectfully, I don't think a sandwich equates to a punch in the face. I'm
But
sorry,
you
I'm sorry.
know
Hey,
how
man,
he feels
you know how I
about
feel about mayo.
sandwiches.
I'm sorry,
Like
I'm
you,
sorry.
I mean that sandwich
Two
is
punches
mayo.
in the face,
Oh, so just one?
and James don't hit light.
You shouldn't have put mayo on the sandwich.
To be fair, I would never put mayo on a sandwich intentionally.
How you accidentally put a white condiment on my sandwich?
And you don't even know.
Alright.
But just verify.
Jose.
I mean, hold on, let me think about what I was gonna say. It was this whole mayonnaise.
It's mayonnaise, by the way. It's actually mayonnaise.
Yeah, actual mayonnaise.
Going back to the whole like
You dirty minds.
allowing good behavior being or like bad behavior. What was that other part of your question of if we should?
Yeah, like would you still push for like the good behavior, like be like basically not excuse retaliation, basically?
Okay. I think so. We're human. In order to know what good behavior is, you need to know what bad behavior is, and then understand like what's tolerable, what's not. Right. You can't know what's good if you don't know what's bad. So that's just step one. Well, obviously now we're at the age where we know, but as kids, like you have to be able to differentiate, to understand, learn what's this, what's that.
I mean, it makes sense in this context. 'Cause
Right.
It's in response to a negative action. So,
Right.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm just thinking like, for example, because I feel like we can understand good versus bad versus like technically like whether someone's like better off, right? So it's just like, because let's say one happens first, you can understand what's good versus bad off of the first time that you experience it, even without the other, right? So let's say I'm hungry, it's good that somebody fed me because I don't die of starvation. I don't have to wait to see someone die and be like, oh, I guess that was good that I was fed. You know what I'm saying? That's my only comment. But continue.
Imagine.
But I
like,
mean,
only
you
feeling
shouldn't
alive.
have. Depending on the situation, like if it's bad behavior, like depending what it is, like sometimes you don't need to avoid like retaliation. Like sometimes it may call for it. Like if some dirty shit was done to you or some my fault, but like if some
No, sorry.
Yeah, my fault. You know, Rich is gonna have to cut that out. But like, if some, you know, crazy stuff was done to you or like messed up, like, you know, like.
I mean, honestly, I feel the same way, depending upon it. Like, respectfully, I have a 2-year-old brother. If anyone touches him, I'm going to them because like it's yeah, and I don't care if it's light. Like,
Does that mean high fives are off the table? 'Cause-
oh, of course, high five, but like,
because he beeped it out so well, you didn't hear.
or
it.
that was a quality beep. I didn't even hear
That
it.
was like very.
Yeah, timing was like.
Can you tell me what you said after?
It's,
yeah.
Okay.
But so yeah, like I just yeah, like I'm very defensive upon who I call, you know, my friends,
yeah, my people, yeah.
and my family. So it's like, don't mess with them because I will be liable. And it's like, just because of this sharing, like, and that's why I feel like it's merit. Like, I don't know about merit. I would say merited personally. That's one thing. That's bias, and that's not a morality spectrum on it. Because like I can differentiate and discern. Okay, am I being operating off of morals or operating off of bias? And strictly when it comes to family and them, yeah, nah, that's bias.
Yeah.
Don't mess with them. It's
Yeah.
simple.
So like,
It's that simple. That's simple.
and that's different for everyone depending on where.
I will break your arm. I will, you know,
I think we understand.
break your body part. You know, you may stop walking, not a good way. So,
Jose,
But sometimes you just, you know,
back to you.
on the other hand, like sometimes you just might need to be the bigger person and, you know,
yeah, definitely.
hold back.
Definitely.
Hold
Like,
back from
for
the
example, like,
retaliation.
if someone steps on me on a crowded train, come on, nah, bro. Like, come on, bro. It's a crowded train.
Yeah.
Right? And so I think, I don't think, how do I want to say this? Like, there's not levels to this, but, you know, it's not a one-size-fit-all solution. It's like,
Yeah.
it's just, the way you should, I think, at least judge yourself in terms of how to conduct yourself or react to something. Like, it's like a scenario by scenario basis, and, you know, hopefully most of the time it's not a, you know, reactive response, but, you know, if it warrants it, if, you know, it's in the moment, like, I mean, sometimes we can't control our emotions in a given time, so, you know, things may happen.
Yeah, and I think that's really the sum of everything we said today, because like everything is pretty much ambiguous. A lot of things are, and it's operating out of the ambiguity. But the more explicit we get into it, the more we get to defining variables and understanding. Okay, what is it actually at play? Why am I doing this? And understand literally the heart and the truth behind what's actually going on. Mm-hmm. Which is really what just a critiquing and kind of accountability is, right? Exactly. It's literally just about, okay, boom, I'm doing this action because of this action, and what is the moral spectrum behind said action, right? I feel like it should be high. We should operate out of high morals,
Exactly.
regardless of who is the person you're operating with. In my opinion, right? However, I do have understanding for certain situations, but for the most part, the right thing to do is operate out of moral side. Right. That doesn't mean, you know, kissing behind and catering too much and giving yourself, but that does mean, okay, you know what? They're miserable. I'm gonna let them be miserable by themselves. I'm gonna dissociate myself with.
Exactly.
With
and
that.
I think that's why I more so stand on the more so on the at least at the try your best to avoid retaliation type of stuff, because like, you know, I think what was it? I think, yeah, basically like around a year ago I was taking a class and we was talking about, you know, the Stoics, you know, whole ideology and stuff like that, and they were talking about like anger specifically. It's just like, the reason why like anger is like one of the most like dangerous emotions simply because, you know, your anger, and like when you're angry you're prompted to basically cause anger in somebody else, which then they end up continuing the cycle.
Exactly.
And so that's what's just like, look, as long as you can try your best to like make sure that more people just don't end up miserable. You know, I think that's what matters.
Exactly, like reciprocate what you want to receive, you know.
Exactly, and just be the change you want to see in the world, basically. You know what I'm saying?
Can't change the world unless you change yourself.
Honestly, say that one time. We gonna end on that.
That's not me. That's
I know
Joey
it's not true.
Badass.
That's not true, but it's facts though. It's facts though. We know it's not Jose Cervantes' quote, but say it one more time.
I wish it was my quote.
Say it one more time.
Can't change the world unless you change yourself.
And that's facts. And that's how we end today's episode. Thanks for pulling up. Big shout out to the club. You know, we love y'all. We happy to see you at this I don't know what episode this is.
I think 5.
Thank you for having me.
Fine.
Oh, thank you for being here.
Nah, thank you,
Yes,
bro.
most
Bro,
definitely.
Thank you for like 8 years now.
Yeah.
And I've known you for like what, 8 months?
Hopefully
That's crazy.
for you know 8
2
years
weeks,
more.
Zach?
You know the vibes. But yeah.
So what?
No, he's you saying I knew you for 8 years. I'm like, yeah, in like 8 months. And she's like, yeah, 2 weeks.
But yeah, thanks Club pulling up. We
Yes.
ended here.
Word.
You know, the closer. Success.
Oh, and of course, make sure, you know, follow us on the socials, you know.
Facts.
Yeah, follow,
We gonna
smash the
tag
like
the
button,
socials.
comment, reshare.
Like, comment, subscribe, reshare. You know.
Yeah.
If you want to reach out to my son Ryan for some graphic designs, y'all better hit him up. We gonna drop
Facts. Go
his,
check-
you know, his
check out
handles.
Maxine. I mean, not Maxine.
If y'all-
Yo, follow
Magazines.
Word. Follow me on Instagram, Jose.bk4.
And yeah. Thank y'all.
Word. We out.